Hi, Sara Hey here with Bob Clements International. I wanted to take a quick minute and address a question that I have gotten a number of times over on my Instagram page at Sara Hey 1. The question is, how in the world do I find technicians? Okay, I know that in the midst of season and in the industries that we are in, it is hard to find these magical unicorns that are prancing through the field. We go, where in the world do we find these technicians at? Is there an easy button? First off, no, there is no easy button. I wish I could tell you different, but here are 3 things to keep in mind when you are looking for technicians, skilled technicians who are able to come in and pick up where you need them to pick up. Number 1, know what you can pay them. All right, so when we help dealers figure out how much they can pay technicians, what we do is we take 30% of the effective labor rate in the service department. So how do you figure out what your effective labor rate is? You take the efficiency of the service department as a whole and multiply it by your labor rate. So let's say that your service department is 100% efficient. Yes, you did it. We are awesome. And that our labor rate is $100 an hour. Listen, I'm from Missouri. I need easy math. If we have $100 an hour and our service department is 100% efficient, that means that we could spend $30 an hour max on a technician in our service department. Now, let's say that your service department is 85% efficient, and so we multiply that by our $100 an hour labor rate, giving us an effective labor rate of $85 an hour. Then we can spend 30% of that on per hour on a technician, meaning that for every hour billed, we have about $25.50 that we can spend on a technician. So we need to, number 1, know what it is we can spend on a technician before we go looking for technicians. You are not going to find a technician for $15 an hour who's going to come in and be ready to dive into work in the midst of season. It's just not going to happen. So set your expectations realistically and know how much you need to pay. Number 2, contact your local VA or military recruiter in your area and ask if there is anyone coming out of the service, retiring out of the service, that is looking for a technician job. We had a dealership not long ago who was looking for a big ag technician. We were helping them go through this process, and we did just that. We reached out to the local recruiter in their area, and they said, you know what, we have somebody coming in. And what he did was he took the tanks in red zones in the middle of battlefields out, so they didn't have to destroy them for intellectual property and secrecy. And so he literally, in the midst of red zones, was pulling tanks out of the field. We went through the process with him, and he ended up being an incredible candidate for this dealership. In the midst of the interview process that we were helping this dealership with, he said, I'm not really sure that I can handle the heat of season. And we said, oh my goodness, you were pulling tanks out of red zones. I think you can handle season in the midst of this big ag dealership. He was a phenomenal fit. Was there a little bit of training that had to happen? Yes. But he had the basic skills that we needed in this dealership. Reach out to your local VA or local recruiters. They know the people who are retiring out of the service and maybe a good fit for your dealership. We have had phenomenal luck looking there over the last few years. The other place I would encourage you to look is the job recruiter sites. Okay, before you throw tomatoes at me, hear me out. Listen, your issue with the job recruiter sites most of the time is that you're not actually utilizing them well. When you think about a job recruiter site, whether it's ZipRecruiter, Indeed, Monster, wherever it is, we have to remember that job recruiter sites utilize search engine optimization. That's the same thing that when you type in, where do I buy 47 pounds of beef jerky in Google, makes the results that you want to see come to the top. Okay, exactly the same thing. That's search engine optimization. So how do you optimize your job postings to make sure that they come to the top? Number 1, you have to have a good job description. In our dealer toolbox, we have the job descriptions we use for every single position in the dealership, and the technician, service manager, service writer, and service coordinator are all in there. The next thing is you need to utilize keywords that other people who are searching for that may not be a copy paste situation would have it come up to the top of the results. Okay, that's the second thing. The third thing we've got to keep in mind is if we are not getting hits on it over the weekend, let's say that we put it out on a Wednesday and by Monday we have no resumes coming in, we need to raise the pay. You said, Sarah, you just told me that I could only pay 30% of the effective labor rate in my service department for a technician. Well, then, my friend, you either need to raise the labor rate or find a way to make your service department more efficient, okay? That's what we've got to do. The fourth thing to keep in mind is that we need to take down the job posting and re-put it back up every single week. If we want to maximize the search engine optimization, we've got to take that down and put it up. It will come up as a new job listing and be on the top of the search results for the technicians who are looking to make a change. The last thing I want to say is that if there is a good technician who applies for a position at your dealership, do not wait. If you are looking for them and they are a good technician, other dealerships just like yourself are looking for them and they may be a good technician for them. Good technicians do not stay around for long. So if you find a great candidate for your dealership, do not wait on pulling the trigger to hire them. All right, so as you go into this, just as a recap, you can pay 30% of your effective labor rate for a technician. Reach out to your local VA or recruiter and see who is coming out of the service that might be a great fit for your dealership. And make sure you're utilizing job posting sites to utilize the search engine optimization aspect to get your posting at the top and in front of the most possible candidates as possible.